make a video on my leaning fence. This is my neighbor's fence. Mine was leaning just as bad after Hurricane Ida. I've done a lot of work on it and just now thought about maybe videotaping what I've done because it seems to work pretty well. So I'm just showing you this to show you about how much mine was leaning, and I'll go to my fence now and show you what I've done. In order to see just how far out of alignment the fence was, I pulled a straight taut line from the post that was the first one that was straight to the corner post, and so that gave me a good reference point of where I needed to move my fence over. So in order to get everything back to plumb, as I said, this thing had quite a bit of lean to it, and it's pretty well back in alignment. Still some lean up there, you can see at the top. Some little curvature there. But so this morning I went to Home Depot, picked up some extremely cheap, pitiful studs, $2.83 a piece on these. Picked up 5. Now, because it was such a long stretch that was leaning, I thought probably 5 or so might work. So anyway, as I would put pressure on the, I would push on the fence and then slide this down as much as possible. This is, you can see where it caught several times. And so I was able to do quite a bit, but eventually the fence got to the point where it was harder and harder to do. And these studs are just down in the ground. I probably should have, well, it worked, but I could have driven a 2x4 down in the ground to give them a little bit more support. But over here then, where I got to the point where I couldn't, where the 2x4 wouldn't grab any longer, and you can see right in here, you see where the 2x4 grabbed each time I pushed on the fence. Then I decided I got these little clamps in my workshop, and these are pretty small right here, but I doubled them up and they seem to be working pretty well. Down here you can see some Jorgensen's. They, I think, can take a lot more pressure. I was able to turn the jaws wrong side out, or to push instead of to pull together. And this has worked out pretty well. So I'm going to take you around and I'm going to show you kind of where we are right now. So this is the number 3 post. And this now is, this was about 3 inches out. And now I've got it to where it's, looks like it's about 1 inch. And the number 4 post is right here. And that also was at least, even after I pushed on it, was about 2 inches out. And so now it's about 1 inch out. So down through there then, I've run this line, taught that line to where the tilt stopped, and then I ran it down to the far end of my fence, and it got a straight line there. So I'm trying to get these level with my line there. So I'm going to try and see if I can put a little pressure on this and raise this a little bit more. What I was doing though was pushing with one hand and using this as the other, but I can't really record like that, so maybe I can do it with one hand. Let's see. Just barely. Just barely. No, I need to push on the fence and then tighten up that clamp. Okay, this is my post number 3 here that was so far out of alignment. But so by pushing on the fence and then clamping, you can see how much I have raised or push the fence inward. That's probably a good inch right there, pushing down on this 2x and pushing over on the top of the fence, which is right there. So what I did here then, just took these boards, scrap boards here, screwed through 3 screws in there, and that seemed to be holding pretty well. Now, these boards I'm screwing into is the board that is covering the fence post. So this is post number 3. It was one of the worst, and now it looks like it's about maybe 3/8 of an inch out, but it could be due to this post, this cover fence post cover down here is a little warped, so it's throwing my line out. And if I put a level on this, it actually looks pretty level. Well, I'm pretty pleased with the way the project turned out. So I've taken all of my clamps off now, and I've scotched these 2x4s down, and I think I'm going to leave them this way for probably a couple of weeks or longer. We're going to get a rain soon, and I will let the post kind of settle back into the ground and hopefully resettle back into the original holes without doing any work to the hole itself, like putting concrete or something in there. I think the lesson learned here is a little bit at a time, and before you know it, you've got your goal accomplished. And by using my little work clamps, turning them kind of the jaws out, I was able to take a little here, take a little here, take a little here, come back and do the same. And I had to move these a couple of times on post number 3, because my little clamps ran out of space, ran out of bar. But I'm pretty pleased with this little project. Hopefully it's helpful to you.